Hello, KZOOMers. A special welcome to those who may be coming here for the first time to this KZOOM community.
Welcome.
Welcome. And invite you to just take a look around the KZOOM room and make a connection with the name or the face. That we're here to support each other in our practice and to do some exploring. And that exploration, the way that I named that is that exploration of this quality of yearning, of longing. And as I was just chanting that melody, I just felt like, it's in music, it's there's a quality called soul or soulfulness, and I think soulfulness has that yearning embedded in it. It has a depth to it. It has a connection to where I've been and where I'm going, and so there's something that is pulling me, that is calling me forth into my wholeness, and so the Song of Songs really is kind of like one of the great texts of yearning, of desire, and of fulfillment as well. And the power of the desire, I think all of our desire is ultimately a desire for God, and it takes the form of so many different things. And the Song of Songs really is this the drama of yearning and tasting and losing and tasting again and filling up and losing and tasting again, and every time that the loss happens, every time we get lost, the desire gets a little keener inside us, a little more refined, a little stronger, a little more connected, if we stay with it and don't, from the loss, if we don't shut down. And at every moment of loss in our lives, there's always this choice point of shutting down or opening up at that moment of loss. And when at the moment of loss we don't shut down but we open, then we are connected to the power of our souls, and our souls then can move us into its unfolding. And I want to say that this word soul to me is so important, and the word in our tradition, there's actually many words for soul that describe a kind of a continuum of soul, and the continuum moves us from separateness to oneness. That's the journey that we're on. So there's a description of these words for soul of nefesh, ruach, neshama, chaya, yechida, all words for soul, and they move us, from that complete separateness to that complete oneness in God. And so soul is really like it's a movement. It's not a thing. It's not a thing. It's like this force that is moving us into connection, really, from separateness into connection. And so there's in many spiritual traditions an understanding that there's that desire is a holy force, And in the desire itself, we find what we're looking for. In the desire itself, but sometimes we don't notice it. And sometimes I don't know my own desire until I hear it in my voice, until I sing it. And then I can feel that longing being expressed. And as it's expressed, it's given back to me in a kind of a fulfillment of that desire. It's almost as if I ask the question and the answer is right there inside the question itself, and becomes a kind of a force that's moving me. So that's what I want to do now, is to find those words in the tradition that can help us to unlock that power. I'll just say one more, a teaching from Sharon Salzberg that says, it is awareness of both our shared pain and our longing for happiness that links us to other people and helps us to turn toward them with compassion. The awareness that, it's not only what connects me to God and to my, to the continuum of my soul, but it's what connects us to each other. And so let's begin with this practice that begins in bed, in repose, in this place of this dark night that we sometimes feel, that says, in my bed all night I long for the one that my soul loves. I long for the one that my soul loves. And sometimes that seeking that is not immediately fulfilled actually calls forth more and more of that soulfulness from me that is going to move me on my path. So that's what happens in the Song of Songs. I seek him, but at first I don't find him. And in a way, that seeking itself is what the power of it is what unlocks. I just want to say, St. Augustine said that the desire is thy prayers, and if thy desire is without ceasing, the prayer will also be without ceasing. The continuance of your longing is the continuance of your prayer. So that desire is your prayer. So let's pray these words and connect with each other in it. Mishkavi balaylot bekashti Nafshi mishkavi balaylot bekashti mishkavi balaylot bekashti Nafshi mishkavi balaylot bekashti balaylot bekashti. Shahava Nafshi, Shahava Nafshi. And hear that soulfulness in your own voice. Mishkavi balaylot bekashti. Shahava Nafshi. Mishkavi balaylot bekashti. Shahava Nafshi. Mishkavi balaylot bekashti. Shahava Nafshi. Shahava Nafshi. Mishkavi balaylot bekashti. Shahava Nafshi. Mishkavi balaylot bekashti. Shahava Nafshi. Mishkavi balaylot bekashti. Shahava Nafshi. Shahava Nafshi. Once more. Mishkavi balaylot bekashti. Shahava Nafshi. Mishkavi balaylot bekashti. Shahava Nafshi. Mishkavi balaylot bekashti. Shahava Nafshi. Shahava Nafshi. So Rumi is a great teacher of this quality of longing and its power to redeem us. He tells a story. He says, one night a man was crying, Allah, Allah. His lips grew sweet with the praising until a cynic said, so, I've heard you calling out, but have you ever gotten any response? And the man had no answer for that. He quit praying. and he fell into a confused sleep where he dreamed. He saw Kidder, the guide of souls, in a thick green foliage. Why did you stop praying? Why did you stop praising? Because I never heard anything back. The longing you express is the return message. The grief you cry out from draws you towards union. Your pure sadness that wants help is the secret cup. Listen to the moan of a dog for its master. That whining is the connection. Listen to the moan of a dog for its master. That whining is the connection. There are love dogs no one knows the names of. Give your life to be one of them. So this place of longing, I think it requires some refinement, because sometimes that longing can kind of get sublimated and, sort of twisted in a way where that longing, sends us to the wrong place for fulfillment. And so we need to stay with it and really, I guess, begin with a kind of internal space before we go out and search for the beloved. We have to find that beloved inside. And so it really struck me that the lover says in my first, she begins in the bed, in that long night of longing. And so these words from Psalm 4, verse 5, really came to me as helping us to refine that longing, which is to come to the place of stillness inside us. To stay with it inside us before we kind of like grab at, what the first thing is, to stay inside it. And so it says reflect in your hearts, but it's like there's a conversation between you and the beloved inside. Imru vilvavchem. Imru vilvavchem. Have that conversation within your own heart, upon your bed, in that private space of that dark night. And when you do, there is this quality of stillness that will descend inside you. And that stillness will determine the grace of the dance of longing, of how you move out, how you step into the world with that, fueled by that inner knowing, inner stillness. Let's try those. Imru vilvavchem al mish'kavchem. Imru vilvavchem al mish'kavchem. Selah.
selah, domu, domu, vilvavchem, mish'kavchem, Imru, vilvavchem, mish'kavchem, domu, 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 selah, domu, domu, selah.
So into the stillness of our hearts. I want to just breathe into that place of Domu, that still, calm center in your heart. And just bring the question inside of what does my heart long for? What does my heart long for? And if there's a word or a phrase that arises from that still heart, I invite you to put that into the chat, just to share that what your heart says. Connection, truth, closeness and mutual love, connection, light, open, love, togetherness, to be of service, gratitude, connection, love, light, equanimity, acceptance, stillness, steadiness, connection, peacefulness, to be used well, to learn with you in person, yeah. Soulmate, love, peaceful, healing. So I'm feeling that this time of the pandemic for me is a great lesson in the cultivation of yearning, of longing, because everything everything I plan falls away. Everything, it's like the things that I love. It's like it's this great lesson in delayed gratification, and I can either become irritable, or I can grow my longing. I can be in touch with it. I can feel its not only its painfulness, but also its sweetness. Because that, if there wasn't love in my heart, I wouldn't miss those things. And that, especially that sense of connection, and that I pray that when we do come together, then we'll know its sweetness evermore because of the longing that we have cultivated inside us. There's Rabbi Naomi Levy says, our tradition tells us that the soul has its own yearning, its own longing for union with the divine. It's kind of like we're built that way, she says. Longing to connect with another and longing to connect with the eternal, with God. If we ignore that yearning, we can have everything and still feel empty. That's why as a society we can have so much and still feel like there's a hole, an emptiness that can't be filled. Tzam'ah lecha Nafshi My soul thirsts for you is describing that hunger. And the practice that I want to do is about that thirst, that the soul that is thirsting for God. And the soul that's thirsting for God makes kind of a caveat. It says like, okay, what I want is the living God. I don't want some idea about God. I don't want, theology. I want the experience of God. That's the living God. And I don't want the God of my ancestors. I want the God of this moment, the living God. And once I have tasted just even a little tiny taste of that living God, that sense of presence, I don't want to settle for anything less than that. And that taste or that glimpse is going to move me onward on my path. So, so last week we did a little bit of a bowing practice, and which is, I said it was a good way to get out of your head, is to do that bowing. And if you feel like doing that with this chant, and it's the idea is to get your head kind of moving so that you can fall into your heart, and feel the force of that longing that is built inside you, and that you just have to unlock. It's what moves us to wholeness, to connection. Tzam'ah Nafshi, Elohim 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 Tzam'ah Nafshi 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 Elohim Elohim. So it is a powerful force in us, and then we unlock it and we direct it. And the great kind of paradox about longing is that that whatever we're longing for is already in us. But we still, it's almost like you still have to go on the journey to get there, even though it's right where you are, and you still have to take the journey. That's what it feels like. Michael Meade describes it in this way. He says, one of the open secrets of life on earth is that the answer to life's burning question has been inscribed in one's soul all along. The soul is a kind of ancient vessel that holds the exact knowledge we seek and need to find our way in life. Each life is a pilgrimage intended to arrive at the center of the pilgrim's soul. From that vantage point, the issue is not whether we managed to choose the right God or the only way to live righteously. Such notions fail to recognize the inborn intimacy each soul already has with the divine. The inborn intimacy each soul already has with the divine. And I guess that inborn intimacy gets covered up with layers and layers of distress, and our practice is really to is to uncover what's already there. so I wanted to have our final practice of this one that I call longing from Psalm 42, and some of you must know this practice already. And I was, I love the animals, and the deer come to our house regularly, especially since my chives started to proliferate in my garden and send off into the kind of area around my house. Lots of little chive places that the deer seem to really love. So I get to be with them. And in Psalm 42, we are with the deer by the water, by the riverbank, and the psalm says just as the deer longs for water by the riverbank. And whenever I want to talk to that deer, really, I want to just address that deer and say, hey, deer, what's going on here? You are longing for something that's right in front of you. What is that about, really? And then the next line of the psalm kind of answers my question and says, oh, that's how my soul longs for God. I am longing for something that is right here, right in front of me, right within me. But it's I get to experience that longing and be filled with it and taste its sweetness, and it's going to connect me.
I must interrupt just for a moment to translate this into Australian. Our dear friend Tony has taught me how to translate this. They don't have deer or rivers in Australia. So it's just as the roo longs for water by the billabong. Am I right, Johnny? Yes, our Australian friends are giving me thumbs up. But yes,
okay,
they will translate in their minds.
Right. And there may be other places we have different translations.
Yeah,
yes.
for sure.
So we want to find that place in us of the deer that is longing for that water that's right here. Just as the deer longs for water by the riverbank, so does my soul long for you, O God. Just as the deer longs for water by the riverbank, so does my soul long for you, O God. Kayn, Nafshi, just as the deer longs for water by the riverbank, so does my soul long for you, O God. Just as the deer long for
so does my soul long for you, oh God. Kayn, Nafshi, aylecha, Elohim. Kayn, Nafshi, aylecha, Elohim. Just as the deer longs for water by the riverbank, so does my soul long for you, oh God. Just as the deer longs for water by the riverbank, so does my soul long for you, oh God. Kayn, Nafshi, aylecha, Elohim. Kayn, Nafshi, aylecha, Elohim. Just as the deer longs for water by the riverbank, so does my soul long for you, oh God. Just as the deer longs for water by the riverbank, so does my soul long for you, oh God. Kayn, Nafshi, aylecha, Elohim. Kayn, Nafshi, aylecha, Elohim. Just as the deer longs for water by the riverbank, so does my soul long for you, oh God. Just as the deer longs for water by the riverbank, so does my soul long for you, oh God. Kayn, Nafshi, aylecha, Taro aylecha Elohim. Just as the deer longs for water by the riverbank, so does my soul long for you, oh God.
So I invite you to just put your hand on your heart and bring a kind of a tenderness there. And if you open your eyes and look around the Zoom room to bring that tenderness of your heart to everyone here. So that place in me is that, of that tenderness is how I connect with you, with that tenderness in you. I want to just like that connection.
So sweet faces.
Sweet faces. Dear faces.
Such dear faces. Yeah.
So
It's great.
it is our custom to take a few minutes of reflecting maybe on that, what was awakened, what was stirred in you during that practice. And if you feel like sticking around for 10 minutes to check in with somebody else here, you can. If you need to go. If you need to go, that's fine. But if you want to stick around for 10 minutes, and then I'm going to call you back after 10 minutes and invite you also to go to the website, give a little donation in honor of what you received.